Hello and welcome back to the another video of Python 2020. So today from this video we are starting another playlist where we will see how can we implement Azure services using Python. So to start with, I will be using Graph API services, and the use of Graph API is mostly to send communications to users. So send emails, send meeting invites, read emails, download attachment, delete meeting invites. All those activity we will see how can we do using Graph API with Python. So after that, we will see how can we use document intelligence services of Azure using Python to extract data from unstructured documents. Alright, so for more videos on Azure and Python, subscribe to the channel. So to send email using Graph API, we have to take these all steps that you can see right now on your screen. So first we have to register an application in Azure portal, and then we will use this application to send email, and then we have to assign required permission to the tenant, and then we will see the documentation and we will understand where things are documented and how things works. After that we will see, after that first of all we will implement the APIs in Postman client to test it. Once the test is successful, then we will implement same API in Python script. And one more thing, this register application in Azure portal I will be doing only in this video, but we will be using this in multiple videos of email automation operations. Please note all these steps very carefully. So if you like the content of this video, please hit the like button. One like is a very big motivation for any YouTube channel. And if you think video is useful, you can share it with your friends and share your feedback in comments. Let's start the video now. So now first of all, what we will do is we will register the app and get the client ID, client details, and client secret. This information you can see right now on your screen. And then in next step we will configure permissions. So we will configure two type of permissions. One is delegated permission, another one is app permission, and then we request the administrator consent for those permissions. So I will just log into the Azure portal using my Office 365 credentials, and then I will go to the app registration. I will do new registration. You can give any name. I am giving the Microsoft Graph, and then these are the account types. So we will select the third option because personal and professional it works for both. Now redirect URL, we will select web URL, and you can note this URL if you want. Now click on register. So here we can see few of the Graph API IDs, client ID and tenant ID is created here. We can copy this client ID, and this is the tenant ID. You can copy and paste, and I will delete this uh, client and this service. So all of these details will not work, and details are the secured, and these details are the secured information. Now let's go to the certificate and secrets, and now we will get the new client secret. I am repeating it again that all of these information are the secret information, so manage them accordingly. And then let's select the validity. So these details will expire in 3 months. You can select 180 days or 2 years as you want. Now we can see that we have got the value and client secret ID. Now we will copy the value of the client secret ID, paste here. So I am going to delete this client. So none of this information will work. I'm repeating this information once again. Now let's refresh this page. So you will not be able to see this information once again. So let's scroll down. we cannot see this information. So we have already copied it. Now let's go to the API permissions. So add permission, and then Microsoft Graph, you can click delegated permission, email, and we have to come down. We have to search for mail option. In the mail option, mail read shared also you can select. But right now, main we need mail read option. Mail read basic also let's select. Mail write will be required when we will mail send as a user. So let's say if you want to share on behalf. So you see you have seen like we have selected four options. Go to the add permissions now. So we have to grant the admin consent so that these all the permissions are given by the admin. So all of these permissions are considered given by the admin. Now we have completed dedicated permission. Now let's go back to the permissions and give application permissions. Add permission once again. Microsoft Graph API. Application permission. These permissions are for giving the access. Access read all, access read, read write, and read write membership. Let me check mail also if it is already selected. Yes, mail is here. Mail read. So these are application. Mail send is already given. Now click add permission. And now you can see again. We have to do grant permission also for applications. So application also permission is granted. Now you can see the list. These all permission we have to give. Okay. Make a note of it. Now we will go to Postman client. So I will show the implementation of this API in Postman. So to see the implementation in Postman, we need all of these parameters. You can have a look on this on your screen, and I will show you all the details on the uh, Microsoft official website. So you can find this link in description, and you can see the details. What is the meaning of each permission and why these permissions are required. And this is the link for HTTP request, and that we will this same link we will use in Postman client. And now you can see the content type, and this is the email body. Remember one thing that after Postman we are going to see this implementation in Python also. Open the new tab, select post method, paste the URL, select authorization 2, and give any name Microsoft graph. We have the callback URL here. We will paste that here. So this URL we will get from Azure portal. Let's go to overview. We can click on, we can see this web option, redirect URL option, and then copy this URL. Okay, now authorization URL. In the documents, we have this authorization URL. I will mention all of these links in description. And you can see the example here also. Yeah, so you can see the other URL also here. So this is our client ID, tenant ID. Yeah, tenant ID in between. You can replace it with your tenant ID. Now to get the token, we will require this access URL. Here also we are using our tenant ID in between. And now we can give the client ID here that we have already noticed, that we have already noted client ID. And in the next one, we have to give client secret. That is key, client secret. All right, paste. Now scope is mail dot send. And then first thing is that we have to generate the token and click on new access token. You you can get a pop-up to sign in with your Microsoft account that you have to do once. Now you use the token, go to body, go to body, raw, and let's go to the Microsoft page, documentation page, and we will copy the body format from here. So this is the JSON format. We just have to do few changes as per our requirement. Copy. If you want to keep the email in sent item, in the end you can see item false, just make that true. Line 23. And do do some changes here. We will change the subject and email ID. Okay, I'll just do the changes. If you do not understand anything at any step, mention in the comment with timing. I am using my Gmail account. For CC also I will use my Gmail account. I will change the subject line and we can see the URL here on top, post URL, and then we will just click the send. And after clicking send, we have got 202 response, accepted response, which means email is successfully sent. I will go to my Gmail account and I will check if I have received the email or not. So you can see I have just received the email with the same subject. And you can see the content also here in the email. And you can see the time here in my system timing also. All right. So we have seen how to check the graph API in Postman. The next step is So we have seen how can we use Graph API in Postman client. Now we will see how can we use same Graph API in Python to send automatic emails. So to use Graph API for email automation, I have created one project. In this project, I will add a new Python file. Right click on project icon. So we will require two libraries. One is JSON and another one is a request. And then we require those credentials that we have taken from Azure portal. So the next step is that we have to get the authorization token for client ID to access the application and the services. So for that, we will create a method. So you can see I have taken the URL and this part is our tenant ID. Okay, so I will just replace this. Okay, so and then we have to assign these payloads. So these are the required labels or required payloads from by Azure API, and these are the values that we are passing. We have to post these payloads, and then we will get JSON response. If you want, you can print this line JSON response data. From that data, we have to just pick only one object, that is access token, and then this function will return us the access token. All right. So now we have the access token, and we will use this access token to send the email. Same thing that we have done in Postman few minutes back. I will just create another function here, send email, and these are the headers that are required. So we have to pass access token, and then we just have to pass one more header, that is application JSON. In this line, you can see the format of URL. And all right, so after headers, we have to pass few of the payloads also. In payload, so payloads are the JSON values. So you can see the message. Payloads are starting from here and ending here on line number 48. And you can see inside message, we have different attribute of message like subject. So test email using Python. If you want, you can give anything else. And then I am using the content type as text. If you want, you can change this to HTML. And this content, so I am using a sample content for one line. If so, this is basically content is the body part. So let's say if you are using some big content where values are dynamically changing, you can read this from some text file also. And then we are assigning here two recipients. This part is the two recipients. So you can copy this part from here, you can paste here, and you can CC recipients also. So for more details, you can have a look on the documentation. So here is the documentation. You can search using these keywords. Let's see how they have used the CC recipients. Okay, so you can see from here till here they have used CC recipients. All comma will come. So I am keeping same email address for both. And let's say if you want to save these emails into sent items, you can just use this. So let's have a look once again on these payloads. So here you can see the entire payload on single screen. All right. So within this function, I will just minimize this payload part now and come here. So within this function, what we have to do, we have to post all of these informations. So here you can see request dot post and headers we are passing on parameter and then data. All right. And then we are printing the response. So response should be 202 if your mail is successfully sent. Just have a look once again. We have created two different methods. So first method is to get the token. Second method is to use the token and send the email. Now we will call these. So now if we call this send email, the access token is already called inside this send email. All right, here you go. Let's say if you want to see if access token is successfully coming or not, you can just print this value from here. So you will get to know that token is coming or not. All right. But I am not doing that because I have already tested this code. So now we are calling. So now we are calling this method here. I will just change this subject. Where we can change the subject, we can change the subject in content. Your new email using Graph API. Now let's run this script. All right. So let's go and check our email mailbox. So you can see here we have received the email just now. You can see the timing and ignore this date because this is the old code. All right, and you can see the subject. So this is how you can use Graph APIs to send email. If you could not understand any part of this video, please write in the comment with timing so that I can respond. Subscribe to the channel for more videos. And in next video, we are going to see how can we read emails using Microsoft Graph API.